G'day folks, welcome back to Pete's Investing. It's at 26th of June 2024. You can see here platinum and crude oil have risen slightly since our last update, and copper and iron ore have both dropped slightly since the last update. In terms of the heat map, you can see here the top left of the chart, we've got our CCI 150 trends, and on the monthly it's predominantly bullish. On the weekly and daily, platinum and crude are neutral on the weekly and daily trends on the CCI 150s, and crude, iron ore and high-grade copper are bearish. Plus we've got the other instruments for your reference should you wish to trade or reference those videos. In terms of trading, we look at trading in the direction of the higher time frame. So if you're trading on the daily time frame, we trade in direction of the weekly trend, or if you're trading on the intraday, we trade in direction of the daily trend. We enter the trade when the CCI 150 breaks out of the moving averages, and those moving averages, the video is attached in the description below should you wish to learn how to draw that indicator on your charting software. And step 3, we look at closing out the trade when the CCI 150 enters back into the moving averages. So first off with platinum, we look at the trends. So on the monthly, weekly and daily, you can see here on the monthly the CCI is broken above the moving average band, although I do notice the moving average band is actually very contracted and pretty much moving sideways, but that's giving us a slightly bullish signal. On the weekly, it's a bit wider range there on moving averages, but that's actually neutral at the moment. It's within those ranges, so it's giving us a neutral signal. And on the daily, it's bullish currently, but it's just about to break into that moving average range to give us a neutral signal if it drops any further. So that's on the daily. Now if we jump to the hourly chart here, and I've got the daily here as a reference, what I've got here as well, I've drawn these bullish and bearish arrows indicating where the moving averages have been broken to the upside or the downside. So for an entry, so there for example, that would have been a nice little entry to take when the CCI was higher than the average moving averages, and likewise when the price is higher than that respective moving averages. And again, these moving average bands can be found in the description below for that video to learn how to draw those on your software. So that's a potential pivot point there. The CCI started rising. We had a couple of bearish retrace signals, but most you can see there were bullish signals up until that point, and then giving us a bearish signal at the moment. So the way we look at this is we go predominantly short in this case when the higher time frame is in that direction, even though it's having a bit of a retrace. And here, for example, you can see there since that period there, which is equivalent to this on the hourly chart, we've been seeing some nice little drops and bearish signals until we get down to this point, a pivot point. Now it's giving us we did have a bullish divergence here versus lower lows on the price, and that's actually hit the target there quite easily, and that target area was a Fibonacci range. If I draw the Fibonacci for those new to the channel, we draw a Fibonacci range between those highs and lows, and that would have been marked, let me just reposition that would have been between the 23 and the 38% level. And that's, you can see there it's hit it, and it's up currently resting on the 38% level as we speak. Now, as well, zooming in a bit, we did have a smaller divergence there versus higher highs on the price. That's hit our initial target there, but now I've got had a more recent divergence. That's, you can see lower highs on the CCI versus higher highs on the price, and that also has come down and hit our target. So again, if we draw a Fibonacci range between that high and low, then you can see there the target range between a 23 and a 38% level was hit quite easily and bounced off that 38% level. So I'll just delete those to make it a bit cleaner. But where are we now? So again, predominantly bearish on the daily, even though we're having a bit of a retrace. This is the retrace here. So wait for any break to the downside for any more bearish outlooks. But again, notice we're broken up into the moving averages of the CCI, and looks like the price may actually hit into that moving averages of the respective moving averages there. So I'd like to see that breakout, a fresh breakout below, to take any short trades on both the CCI and the price to be more bearish. At the moment, just hold off going long or short until we see a more convincing break to the downside or to the upside if it continues in that way. Next, we'll look at US crude oil. So on the monthly, we're showing a bullish signal. It's hard to see there, but that's also very contracted in the moving averages, and that's giving us a slight bullish signal on the CCI. On the weekly, it's within those moving averages, giving us a neutral signal, and on the daily, it's bullish, although similar to platinum, it's actually breaking down into that moving average range to give us a neutral signal. Going to the hourly chart, again using the daily as a reference, slight bullishness, but notice we've got a bullish movement on the price chart, but the CCI is actually going to break to the neutral signal, so just be careful about going long. And this is also corresponding with the hourly chart. You'll notice we've got a bearish divergence, lower highs versus higher highs on the price, and that actually came down, hit our target, the 23-38% level of that Fibonacci range, and it's been moving sideways since then. The CCI has also dropped slightly, so that we may see further declines. But again, the daily is showing us a bullish signal, but it looks like it may break down into a bearish signal in the coming days. So avoid going long until we see this start breaking up and making more bullish signals above these recent highs. Next, we look at high-grade copper. On the monthly, we're bullish, well above the moving average range. On the weekly, it's broken down through those moving averages, giving us a bearish signal. And on the daily, it's been bearish now for a number of weeks. But notice we did also have on the daily a bearish divergence, lower highs versus higher highs on the price. Broke down, hit our 23-38% target range. It's actually fallen down probably around the 50% Fibonacci retracement level. It's actually fallen below this previous support at 44,356. So we may have to revisit that support level and give a new support. On the hourly chart, again using the daily as a reference, again you would have respected that divergence and been prepared for a break to the downside. So had you been going long here, you would have taken your profits when it hit into this moving average range. But since then, it's actually dropped further. Now on the hourly chart, again predominantly short trades here. You see here we did have some nice little short trades happening. Avoid going long during this period, obviously, because of this downtrend here. But notice also we've got currently it's still building a bullish divergence, higher lows versus lower lows on the price. So I'd like to see that break more convincingly to the upside to confirm, in which case we might see the price also bounce. So at the moment, just be careful about going short until we see this divergence being invalidated or confirmed for further movement. Looking at iron ore, on the monthly there is no CCI, but looking at that at the very least neutral, if not slightly bullish. On the weekly, it's broken down into a bearish momentum below the moving averages of the price as well as the CCI. And on the daily, it's also bearish. Notice we did have a bearish divergence, lower highs there versus higher highs on the price. It easily hit our target range, but notice it fell a lot further and down to this support at 749. Now, if I zoom out on this one, on the daily chart, you'll notice I've drawn this diagonal horizontal support line, and that coincides with this horizontal support line at 749. So we may see it probably bounce around that area. So if we go to the hourly chart, again, there's that daily chart as a reference. So we expect it probably to hit this area here. Notice we do have also a bearish signal on the daily, so predominantly short trades should be taken. That would have been a nice short trade to take during that little period. A couple of sideways movement, but again, that would have respected this bullish divergence. So you would have been careful about going short there. As I said, I'd like to see this bounce slightly, and when you see further down, break to the downside of the CCI and the price chart, then you take short trades from there. But at the moment, be careful about going short. So we need to see that again break to the downside, and we expect it to break probably around this 749 area at the very least. So if you got value out of the video, hit that like and subscribe button, hit that notification bell. Thanks for watching, and see you in a future video.